classical musicians, getting in here is like the equivalent of getting into Harvard. The Curtis Institute of Music is a world-renowned, highly specialized classical music conservatory. It is about 160 kids, 4% acceptance rate. I mean, that varies year to year. They take what they need, enough for a symphony orchestra, a small opera company, piano studio, organ studio, conducting studio, guitar studio, composition program. Everyone who gets in attends on full scholarship. I was lucky enough to earn a spot in their opera program this year and started my bachelor's back in the fall. And I would like to talk a little bit about my first year here and my experience at what many consider the best music school in the world. To start, I wanted to give some context into what it actually looks like to study classical music. An analogy that I find correlates actually pretty well is professional classical musicians and professional athletes. Both start young, the talent is fostered, is recognized, and you put in hours and hours over time to train your mind and train your body to execute these functions under pressure. Similar to any young athlete, a young classical musician eventually has to decide where to take their raw talent and put it on display so that they can further elevate their career. For the musicians, that would be going to conservatory. Ideally, you go to something like that, and then you build the network, you build the skills, you build the knowledge, the identity, and the tools to go out and ideally have a career in classical music. But Curtis is regarded as one of the best places to do exactly that.
At night, when everything is quiet, this old house seems to breathe a sigh.
My experience at Curtis started, honestly, with a lot of unanswered questions. I was taken actually off the wait list when somebody got a job. So I didn't realize I would be coming here in the fall until about a week before I was to leave to go to Aspen for the Aspen Music Festival for the first time. I spent the entire summer trying to plan out a life that I had no idea what it was going to look like, singing through a bunch of projects in Colorado. By some miracle, I was able to organize everything from afar with the help of my parents and a realtor with eyes here. I had about a day at home to pack before my parents and I drove up to Philly, moved me into an apartment. They said bye, and I was all alone in a city I'd spent maybe 36 hours in for an audition.
Lonely house, lonely me, funny with so many neighbors, how lonely can be.
What was even more rough was the fact that I missed new student orientation, so I didn't know anybody going in. I showed up, I got a key card, got a schedule, and just had to full send. I was super excited, as anybody would be, but I also felt super alone. I was basically hitting a blank slate, fresh restart to come here. So I was leaving behind 2 years at a school that really taught me who I was. I had great teachers, great friends, and my family. The school was where I grew up, so my siblings, my parents, they were all in this vicinity. I mean, it was a bubble, but it was the bubble I was coming from. I felt in my gut that it was the right decision, but a part of me felt like I was rolling the dice a little bit.
So liebet wohl, wir wollen gehen, lebt wohl, auf Wiedersehen.
So what's it like? Short answer, really intense, but really rewarding. The people here are super kind and also, as you would probably guess, extremely talented. Okay, long answer. Not gonna make it a bulletin, but give you guys kind of some information of what my week would look like, or just how this place is structured. My first experience at Curtis was a voice lesson with the phenomenal maestro Jack Livigny. It was a couple rooms over that way. Jack is an internationally respected vocal pedagogue and an incredible voice teacher and technician. And on top of that, he's a wonderful human being. Working with him was definitely a highlight for me for the year. We accomplished a lot. And the relationship between a student and a teacher in classical music is crucial. They're your most important eyes and ears and the people that you trust to guide you through your development. What makes Curtis so incredibly special is that they bring in the best eyes and ears, the leading pedagogues, to do exactly that. Beyond your primary teacher, you have an array of specialized coaches to teach you about the linguistic and musical demands of opera. I might have up to 6 coachings a week, which is super special, super rare. It's a lot of hands-on time that they give to us. It's a huge privilege of being at a place like Curtis. On top of that, there's a really rigorous academic curriculum talking about things like counterpoint, harmony, music history, literature, poetry. The goal here isn't just to make us skilled musicians. It's to create artists with an educated point of view. And luckily, Curtis provides plenty of opportunities to refine that point of view through performing. In the opera department specifically, we do 3 big productions a year, 1 major recital format program a semester, and numerous other projects throughout the cohort. I had a role in our first production, Monteverdi's L'Orfeo, and it showed me the rigor of Curtis right away. We started coaching our roles in September, basically as soon as we got here, went into staging all through October, and put it up the second week of November. Once staging hit, we were working like 6 days a week with the conductor, director, and full creative team. It really felt less like being in school and more like working in a professional opera house. Everyone was one unit. There's 23 of us in the opera department, and we all were in this production, and we all did the work outside. We worked really hard. We learned what we needed to learn. And then when staging hit, we were working cohesively as a team to put it together, to build something and make something out of this piece. On those long 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. Saturday rehearsals, nobody was checked out. Everyone was focused, genuinely committed to making something out of this piece and making it worth seeing. The rest of my performing this year was recital-based and covering. I got to do that in 3 productions this year, one of them a Curtis production and 2 of them professional productions. Actually, that's something that Curtis does super well, is they'll release you for professional opportunities if they supplement your education here or add like valuable career experience. Yeah, they actually connected me when I got here with Opera Philadelphia to cover in their first production, which was a super valuable learning experience and supplemented my resume really nicely. I came in knowing that this year was probably going to challenge me. I mean, new city, new teacher, new everything. Blank slate. Probably could have guessed. I think what I initially struggled with was just the curriculum. I was expected to learn a lot really fast because the curriculum I think is more tailored towards people who had years of musical experience. And I mean, I've been singing my whole life, but I've only probably got 2 years of formal music education. This curriculum is tailored towards people who have like good fluency here, who did maybe a pre-college. A lot of people do the Juilliard pre-college before they come here. So I was just expected to learn a lot really fast and kind of catch up, which was difficult. I mean, I had to learn clef reading, all kinds of clefs, don't you know, alto, tenor. But I think as a singer who's so trained on reading one clef that even just learning how to like read vertically was really hard. But I did it eventually. I'm much better at it now than I was at the start of the year, which is how growing works. I had to relearn how to practice and how to prioritize more than just my instrument. I couldn't get away with anything anymore, so I really had to kind of dive in and prioritize the work of learning the piano or learning bit species counterpoint, for example. I think the other thing I struggled with just generally was like imposter syndrome. Everyone here is really fantastic and exceptionally talented and can do exceptional things and make it look really easy. So it was really easy to kind of compare myself and say, what am I even doing here? I got sick more than I ever have in my life, which was really difficult as a singer, especially. Kind of snowballed into this period of my life where I wasn't really achieving at the level I wanted to, wasn't singing at the level I wanted to. I had to like pull out of things. It was no good. It was not good, and it was not good for my mental health either. It's something that you have to learn in this career is that it requires patience. It requires development and time in the practice room and time on stage to really refine who you are as an artist and what you're doing. But eventually I did have to realize that I just had to slow down, get some perspective. Anything worth building takes time. I've signed on for a long career that requires mental growth, physical growth, personal growth for it to be worthwhile. I also had to learn that I had to rebuild my support systems. I didn't really have good ones coming up here. I left them all back in South Carolina. For me, that was calling home or going on walks, getting out, seeing Philly. It's about prioritizing your non-musical hobbies. Singing was probably once something that I could just do in my free time, and it was not a source of stress at all. And it still brings me a ton of joy and a ton of fulfillment. That's not what I'm saying at all. It's more so that, when you're blessed to do what you love in life, you have to find counterbalance other parts of life. It's easy for things to be all-consuming, and you have to do your due diligence to make sure that it isn't. Otherwise, that's like a one-way road to burnout, to finding a dead end. And that's certainly not what I want for myself and for my singing. I want to prioritize having a healthy relationship with it so that I can do it for as long as possible. So finding that line is crucial, and admittedly, I'm still figuring that out, as is probably anyone in this business. You're not going to be perfect. Because what is perfect? It's so subjective. You can do exactly what's on the page. You can play it perfectly, sing it perfectly, to the smallest nuance of the page. And somebody is still going to say, oh, that's not, somebody's still going to have a problem with it. Of course you want to achieve at a high level, but I think what matters the most is doing so authentically. You have to remember that an audience wants to see other people on stage. They want to see you perform at a high level, but they want to see themselves in the music. If I'm grateful for anything this year, it's realizing that. I know I just said things were difficult, but all in all, it was like a really great year. I learned a lot, I accomplished a lot, I figured out a lot about myself, about my singing, and as I just talked about, that personal growth is a big part of building character as an artist. I call it a win. I'm not dumb enough to think that any of that detracted from who I am or was wasted time. Looking ahead, I'm going to Aspen, Colorado to attend the Aspen Music Festival for the second time, this time as a Renee Fleming artist, which means I'll get to work with her. It's something I'm really looking forward to. I think it's going to be a great summer. I'm doing, amongst other things, my first Tamino in Mozart's Die Zauberflöte, which is a big responsibility and a huge milestone for me and for any other tenor who does the role. The first is a big one, and I'm so extremely lucky that Aspen has put that responsibility into my hands. Actually, the only other video I'll have on Instagram at this point is from me doing Tamino excerpt at Curtis for their scenes program. So if you're interested in a little preview before I go and do the actual role, that was my first pass at that kind of difficult section of the opera. So go check that out as well. There's a lot ahead, and I plan to do some work to document it. If you're interested in that, you can subscribe here. Or if you want to see kind of more frequent updates, please go find me on Instagram. It's Brett M. Hunter. There you can kind of see some of my photos, and I like to type up little reflections or share some videos like this. Yeah, anyway, thank you for watching. I hope that this was valuable in some way, hearing about my experience. If you have any questions about Curtis or anything else, please leave them in the comments and I'll try to get back to y'all. Thank you.